Remember like a year ago, right now, when Mother had to take care of you for... Oh, I know. It's depressing. We are spoiled daddy's girls. Oh, yes. Fellow KISS fans, welcome to It's All For You Demons, celebrating the fun of being a KISS fan. Today and the next few days forward are going to be very sentimental and very nostalgic. It's been a year since my friends and I saw the end of the road. Given the current state of affairs in the world right now, it feels very weird to think that. It's so weird to think a year ago today was a much different place. And I thought over the next couple days I would just kind of reminisce on that experience, that fun, that magic, and kind of just escape my world for a little bit and look back at some footage, add in some photos that I did not talk of previously, and re-look at the experience a year later, because this is the anniversary of the end of the road for myself. It was an experience I will never, ever, ever forget. My heart goes out to every single fan who has purchased a ticket for end of the road shows in 2020. I hope they get rescheduled, and I hope you can experience this magic. So for the next couple days, just bear with me. It's going to be very nostalgic, going to be very cheesy, of course. It's also going to be very fun. I mean, I'm going to have fun doing it. I hope you have fun doing it. Little Bob Ross action in the back just then. So, hopefully you'll enjoy this. A little retrospective look at the end of the road. It's crazy how much things have changed, but let's just escape and live some old memories, some very cool shots, some very cool matchups, some very cool locations from New York City. And we're going to talk more about the end of the road show than I really ever did before. So I hope you join me on this little journey. It's going to take place over the next couple days, next 4 days exactly. And we'll see what we can dig up in the archives and wax and enjoy. You know Danny. This is my friend Danny, 1988. I think we could sue Taylor Swift for her album cover. Danny did it first. The reason I started this vlog with my friend Dan was that he is not only a great friend, but just has this vast musical knowledge. I've been in a band with Danny before. I've been in a couple bands with Danny, and Danny was born to create music. He has like this musical mind. As a drummer, he knows things and does things that I can't even imagine, and he has this mind that can tell you as a guitarist, like, you should try this, go here or go there, or take that riff and do this, and it just changes the song you're working on for the better. Love the man to death, and what a great person to have with us in New York, because he could just spot nostalgia, spot pop culture, and talk about it. And it was great, and one of the very first places we stumbled upon by happenstance our first night in New York City was the legendary Studio 54 building, and that was where KISS did an infamous performance of I from the Elder without Ace. It was just a three-piece that night. It was Gene, Paul, and Eric Carr. And it was very cool to stand out there and realize that we're standing out in front of a building that maybe one of the oddest KISS performances ever took place. I know Danny and myself and my friends Todd and Chuck, my friend David, we all saw a revenge show that was very strange, where Gene sang a few Paul songs because Paul was so sick. But this Elder show, it was makeup time, and you know, the makeup was still on, the mystique was still there, and to not have Ace in the mix seemed odd. I don't know if people questioned it at the time, but just seemed weird, and it was very cool to stand out in front of this building. And Dan is, of course, pop culture mind. He knew exactly Studio 54 facts, where Steve Rubell stood, that whole history of Studio 54, and to think that this is the place that Paul Stanley was inspired to write I Was Made for Loving You. Very, very cool.
This is actually the old Ed Sullivan Theater, which none of us would be here today, but with this place, where this is in 1964, where the Beatles did the famous show, which Gene Simmons was watching that night and decided he wanted to start a band after that. So basically everything pop culture that has anything to do with rock and roll started right here. Here's a place I never thought I would stand. The infamous Studio 54, where decadence reigned, responsible for I Was Made for Loving You for the KISS fans out there. And right here, the sidewalk is almost just as important as the inside, because here is where the infamous Velvet Ropes happened, where Steve Rubell decided whether you got in or not. A lot of people believe in cabs, very sad because they couldn't get in. One time even Mick Jagger and Keith Richards got in, but the two other Stones had to go home. Right here. So I believe massive crowd here. Steve Rubell looked to see who he liked. I think he stood on something right here, and he was telling people to go home. And he's like, "Oh, you haven't shaved. You need to change your shit. You got to go home."
Hope you enjoyed this little segment today of the memories of my end of the road trip, and tomorrow will be a new one. Take care, be safe. And since these aren't like real vlogs, I haven't like ended them like I normally do, but we'll just say real quick, be good to your animals. Spay, neuter, microchip, let them nap.